I vote for whichever one makes me sound like a better angler.
Yeah, good.
Correct.
Welcome everybody to the Deep Drop. Great to have you back here. I'm Luke McCredden. Adam Ring is with me and always. And Adam, we usually sort of just jump straight in. I'll throw to you to say something crazy. But mate, we've got another special guest tonight. We should introduce him straight off the bat.
Hey, we've got the great man in the studio. This is big time. I'm excited about this one.
Well, Andrew Hart joined us from Hook, Line and Sinker, and Harty's been here before, so it's great to have you back on the show. Harty, how are you feeling this time round, mate?
I'm certainly the big man. I don't know about the great man, but I'm the big man when I'm looking at you two. No, I'm feeling fantastic and ready to answer some of the hard-hitting questions.
Great. Well, let's not muck around. Let's dive straight in.
Why have using spoon-style lures fallen out of favour?
I'm gonna just kick things off here, Ads, because have they ever been in favour?
Not in our lifetime, Luke.
You two are so young. You don't remember.
It's not something that I feel like, oh, geez, they've fallen out of favour. It's to remind myself what they were.
Oh, you're just too young. I think fishermen are the worst sheeple going around. They just follow the trends. And basically, when I was growing up, a spoon, it used to get the trout for me in the rivers around northern Tasmania, which is where I live.
Where did Ads? You've been a part of the tackle industry for a long time. Where do you think the spoon really was at its strongest point? Is it places really sort of nichey like the Tassie sort of rivers, or was it all over the joint, but it's just sort of dropped away a bit?
Yeah, I listen. I think it probably was somewhere. It was something where it was popular everywhere. But I think if you were around a trout lake or a freshwater lake, I should say, it was probably more popular. But it's funny because I thought, we've got a guest on. I should probably be prepared for this podcast, and it was weird because I thought spoon lures. When was the last time spoon lures were interesting? But there's been an influx of spoon lures or new old lures back onto the Australian market as we speak. There's heaps of spoons that are coming in and about. I don't know where or what's driven it. I know the bass scene, it's been pretty popular in some of the impoundments up in New South Wales and Queensland. I know it's trout, they've always been there. And I don't know whether I'm ready to say they're back, but there seems to be quite a few new lures in stores at the moment that have come out in the last 3 months. Yeah, that are takes on the old spoon lure.
Well, can we go back to the original question as why they've fallen out of favour? Is it simply because...
It's an easy answer, really.
What? Because
they're boring as batshit to look on the wall.
But is that the thing? Is it the fact that now there are a billion lures on the market and for freshwater, saltwater, whatever you're looking for, and the fact that when you look at a lure wall in a tackle shop, the angler gets hooked on or excited by the look of something. If they look at a spoon, it's like, I
think that's exactly what it is.
That is exactly what it is. And it wouldn't be hard to bring spoon lures back into popularity by getting a couple of, cool and hip Instagram-type fishermen, unlike myself, to catch some good fish on them. And, you watch the sales go up. I agree with you, Adam. There's actually some new ones coming out. I got sent a heap from my friends at Wilson Tackle. They've just taken over a lure called a live target. I think it's an American lure. And there is a spoon, a wing-styled spoon lure there, which, yes, it'll catch trout, but I suspect it'll catch whatever you want to throw at it. And I think if people just give them a go again, they will become popular again if you want them to.
Well, it's the options. Yeah, and the options are kind of endless because you see the stuff coming out of the States and even from Europe. I mean, there's a couple of spoons that have recently, in the last few years, hit the market from Rapala as well, and they're more aimed at that pike and muskie market. So I would like to see in Australia where that sort of takes us, because the spoons are getting some decent size to them now. I know we all remember the Pegron and the old Wonder Wobbler and bits and pieces like that for trout. But I wonder if species like yellow belly, Murray cod, realistically, even shallow water jigging may be an untapped option, because they generally are quite light for their size, not like a vertical jig or a slow jig or something like that. But for the fish to see something different, and they have such an erratic, weird action to them, it could be like the old bent minnow where they just ate them because they looked weird, not necessarily because they had a consistent action.
Yeah, I think impoundment barra too would be one like that.
That's big one.
Absolutely. I think if you went and spent, a day at Awonga just using spoons, you'd catch fish, no worries.
Now, Ads, I know that you are aware that we've got a TV presenter and personality in our presence today in the studio, but were you aware that we also have a lure developer in the studio? And it's really funny we're talking about spoon lures. Hardy, I'm going to throw to you, because am I right in saying you created your own spoon lure sometime back on Hook, Line and Sinker?
100%, and caught a trout on it. And all I did was cut the handle off a teaspoon and drilled two holes. Drilled 2 holes in either end. Attached a split ring in one end and some hooks in the other. And look, I painted it up in the famous willow colour, which is sort of a bottle green with yellow dots. And it sure enough caught it. It swam straight out of the box and it caught a trout. But you're right, I actually got that idea from my father-in-law, who has a shack up the lakes, and it's a ye olde style, beautiful Highland shack. And he's got a lot of old fishing gear. And on the wall is a teaspoon, which has had the handle cut off, with hooks in it, and that's what was used back in the day to catch trout. So, look, I reckon with a bit of help, they can come back into popularity. I'm all for the spoon.
I love it. Well, again, to answer the question, Ads, are we saying that it's purely because of the market's flooded now with all sorts of lures that is the reason that the spoon style has fallen out of favour?
Yeah, I think it's just because it's not as pretty, or it's not as innovative as some of the lures coming out these days. But it's not to say they don't work.
No. Hey, you and I love a challenge, Adam. We've been challenged on this podcast before, Hardy. We throw it out there sometimes, and people give us a challenge based on things we're talking about. This could be one, Ads. I'm thinking this might be one.
This could be a cracker.
People out there that find the Deep Drop on Instagram, give us a bit of an idea of what we should do, and I want to be converted into a spoon angler. So
and flood us with your spooned catches. I reckon we might see a lot of black and white photos with some sweet old porno muzzies going on, holding up a couple of trout caught on the old Wonder Wobbler.
I'm not sure what that is, but just always remember that everything old will be new again soon.
Yeah,
and
correct.
That's what I'm saying. It's just going to take one big company to go, let's reinvent the spoon, and it'll be filling tackle shop walls before you know it.
Is it pounds or kilos to weigh a fish these days?
This is a weird one for me. Like, it's just a mixed bag, isn't it? There's no consistency. And I don't want to throw to the old boy in the room, but Hardy. The funny thing is, I think you're only a year older than I am.
Yeah, but I've been around a lot longer. I certainly look as though I've had a much harder life, Luke.
This is strange though, because it's almost species dependent, isn't it? It seems to be
100% species dependent, and we can name off the species that you need to talk about, pounds or kilos. But there's another one in there these days as well, which is centimetres. I think if you're talking flathead or barra or Murray cod, you're not talking pounds or kilos, you're talking centimetres. So that maybe should have been in there as well. But look, I'm happy, more than happy, to go pounds.
Across the board?
I'm happy with that, yeah.
Okay.
Give me a fish, give me a species off your top of your head.
Snapper.
20-pound snapper would be
the holy
fair, ground.
Fair.
Trout,
Yeah.
10-pound. That's the holy grail.
The benchmark.
Marlin, 1,000-pound.
Yep.
However, southern bluefin tuna
Yes.
is 100 kilos these days, isn't it? But
Which
never used
qualifies
to
as a barrel, just throwing it out there.
Correct. But did you know, and this is where my age comes into it, there used to be a fish out off the Tuna Club of Tasmania called a bottlefish. And a bottlefish was a fish of over 100 pounds. And this was before 100 kilo fish were so common. But a fish of over 100 pounds was called a bottlefish, and it meant that you had to buy the skipper a bottle of whiskey. And that was back in the 30s and 40s. So, yeah.
You would have been, in your teens around that time?
That's really interesting, because I wonder when that changed. Like, when did the poor skipper stop getting bottles of whiskey every time a good fish was caught?
For a pathetic 100 pounder these days doesn't even rate a mention.
No.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I'm all for buying the skipper a bottle of scotch. I think it's fantastic.
I just find it so strange that some species have held on to pounds, whereas some have come to kilos. And then you get the crossover like a snapper.
Yeah.
Because realistically, you want a 10 kilo fish, but if you can't quite get there, you're happy to claim 20 pound.
Well, 20 pounds sounds better than 10 kilos.
Yeah, it does. It does.
But it's also the only weight where it would be pounds. Like anything smaller might be 3, 4, 5, 6 kilo fish. Like there's nothing that's in pounds apart from if you hit 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's weird. But you'd never hear of a trout being weighed as kilos.
That's
is
right.
it because the fish that have been caught for generations and generations that are referred to as pounds, and then are there fish these days that are getting caught that our grandparents didn't really target or catch, perhaps? And they're
point.
the new fish on the block. Are they the kilo fish? I don't know. It's for me, it's always been pounds. But I'm in Tasmania, it's very backward down here.
But it's also freshwater dominated. We find the freshwater scenes tend to stick with pounds rather than converting to kilos. Because even when you hear people try and estimate what a metre cod would weigh, they're always estimating in pounds. But I think that's because it sounds
bigger,
massive. It's like it's 100 pound.
But what about you get a fair run of kingfish in Tassie, Hardy? What are you referring to kingfish as?
Kilos, probably, because the kingfish down here are only pretty small. So, but kilos. I don't know. It's like a 3 kilo kingfish, a 4 kilo kingfish. That was a good one. It was a 10 kilo kingfish. Yeah.
Because what would you say up this way, Luke? It's more based on measurement.
I think it's still kilo, but I think this first thing you're sort of referring to is the weight. But then at the same time, when it's reaching, there seems to be, and this is a whole other topic, but there seems to be a bit of a new benchmark of great fish, which is like 130 centimetres.
Massive.
So I don't know, but I still
huge.
think it's a kilos weight rating with kingfish in Victoria.
The thing I like,
Interesting one.
if you Google any fish, there's a weight to length chart, which is not bad. So if you're going to let the fish go, it'll give you an estimate. And in actual fact, I was following recently, there's a barra tournament on at the moment, it was up in Mackay. And the way they do their barra fishing now, it's 5 fish, but it's on kilos. Now, I don't think they weigh those fish. I think it's just purely, weight and a chart.
Right.
And so, they've caught 5 fish for 63 kilos, meaning that every fish was sort of, big fish. They're all metre fish. But, I can't imagine that they're stringing them up and weighing them.
Yeah, it's an interesting call from a comp scene. And I guess I kind of get it. If you're trying to promote a competition or you're trying to show people the results, that sounds really impressive. 5 fish for 50 kilos or 53 kilo, whatever. Yet if you were to say, I caught 5 fish and with a total length of 5 meters, it sounds ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Righto, let's go around the room. Hardy, pounds or kilos?
Pounds.
Adam?
Kilos.
It's kilos for me. No, don't sit on the fence, mate. Just because we've got a guest here, don't be trying to be nice.
Nah, but I'll go with kilos.
It's kilos.
But if you catch a 400 and whatever it is, 72 kilo marlin, I guarantee you're going to be calling 1,000 pound.
Yeah, that's right. And that's right. And if I get a 9 point whatever kilo snapper, it's going to be 20 pounds. I guarantee you that. So I vote for whichever one makes me sound like a better angler.
Good.
Correct.
Good.
Like
Good
a true
answer.
internet wanker.
Yeah.
Are jet skis on the bay the equivalent of cyclists on a busy road?
Yeah, it's a similar thing, isn't it? They've got every right to be there, but fuck, they're annoying.
Yeah, fair.
I'm done. No.
So there's Luke's answer. And you've been cancelled. Well done, mate. Only took us 12 episodes.
The problem that I have with this question is that I'm sponsored by Yamaha, and they make a thing called a wave runner, which yes is a jet ski, and they're magnificent pieces of machinery. And look, I've been on them fishing. They're in fact these days, they're quite a large thing. They're more reliable than ever before, and they've become a fishing machine rather than just a go fast do donuts machine. So there's got to be, I'm playing devil's advocate here, but those people out fishing on them are just the same as you and I fishing in our tinnies or our boats, are they not?
Yeah. No, the fishing
Not
ones.
not a convincing yeah, Luke.
No, it's funny you bring that up because it did pop up on YouTube just the other day, Hardy, that there was the Yamaha Wave Runner FX Cruiser that you were belting around on doing a bit of a review, and I've got to say, it's pretty impressive. But I think this more refers to the ones that are doing
riding them.
The ones that have got the knobs riding them, doing jumps off the bow of a ferry and that sort of stuff.
Well, it's
some people ruin it for everyone.
Yeah. And when they're at the boat ramp too, fluffing around, is it a little bit like when they're at a cafe and you're trying to get a coffee and they're in there with their tight lycra and just right up in your face? Like, just get your coffee and get out, mate, with your little clippity-clap feet. Get back on your bike.
You've really got issue with them, haven't you? Getting angry.
It's an issue in Melbourne, Andrew. I know you avoid the big cities when you can, but boy,
I do. But mind you, look, you were out on a kayak only recently catching squid. I see.
Yeah, but we're not talking about.
If I'm in my big boat going 50 knots, geez, kayakers are annoying.
Yeah, commonly referred to as speed bumps.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, well, that's a different question for a different episode.
Write that down, Luke.
Yeah.
No, my answer would be most of them are arseholes and they just go too fast and they're annoying and they ruin it for everyone. That's why you have to, if you live in fishing in big cities, you have to get up super early before they are.
Well, a serious question for a moment on this. Do they have an impact? I know, like, for example, in places like Port Phillip Bay in Victoria, do they have an impact on the actual fishing?
I think you kind of, logically, you'd have to say they do, but do they have any more impact than the 5,000 boats dropping anchors and running into each other? Like, I think it's, fact of the matter is, the waterways are super busy. Like, it's an insanely popular pastime that we enjoy in fishing, but unfortunately, there's other people that use the water for things that don't involve a rod and a reel, and then they're the problem.
What? Nah, fair enough. So, I still think they are. I think it's a great comparison. They're the cyclists of the water.
Oh, 100% they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But, it's just... We'll just use this question to pick on them. Yeah. We'll tackle the boat owners and the kayakers in another question.
At another time.
Yeah.
That's great.
You got it from their point of view, though. You got to remember that they probably don't give two hoots about fishing.
Yeah, exactly.
Couldn't care less about fishing or know anything about it.
That's right.
Nah, fair call.
Well, actually, if you're a listener that prefers to be on a jet ski, I don't know why you'd be listening to a fishing-related podcast, but we appreciate it all the same. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you can hear us take the piss out of you in further episodes as well. But let us know, or if you're a fisher that does have a jet ski, do you really just want to run over every anchored up boats fishing lines out there? Let us know. I'd like to hear from your perspective.
Yeah, love it. Nah, that's a good point, Ads. We always love hearing from the punters out there on Instagram, and that's a good segue to wrap things up, boys. It's been a great show, and don't forget, everyone, to subscribe. Tell your friends about it. It's free to subscribe. Why wouldn't you? And, of course, get involved on Instagram. We have all of our questions that we cover in every episode in tiles on our Instagram page, and we love we've loved the feedback to date, Adam. We love hearing from all sorts of different people out there. So keep that up. We absolutely love it. Andrew Hart, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thanks, legends. I really enjoyed it. It's a great concept, and I enjoy listening.
Well, listen, guys, I need to go. I've got to whack the Leica on, get on my bike, and hit a cafe. So
yeah, got to go put fuel in the jet ski. So we'll see you out there on the highway.